In 2134, humanity took a giant leap forward in its interstellar endeavors with the construction of the Mars Gateway Station. The station, a sprawling complex of gleaming metal and pressurized domes, served as a hub for deep space missions and a beacon of human innovation. Astronauts, engineers, and scientists from around the globe worked side by side, their efforts not only marking the expansion of human presence in space, but also laying the groundwork for potential contact with extraterrestrial life. The possibility of encountering alien life had always been a mix of excitement and trepidation. Preparation for first contact was meticulous, with cultural experts, linguists, and military strategists all playing their part in drafting protocols that spanned every conceivable scenario. When the day finally came, it was both more surprising and ordinary than anyone had expected. It happened on a day like any other, with Mars' two moons, Phobos and Deimos, hanging low in the sky. A shimmering silver vessel, unmistakably non-human, slipped into orbit around Mars. Its arrival was quiet, almost serene, as if the vacuum of space had swallowed any noise the event might have made. The ship was sleek, its surfaces smooth and reflecting the sun's rays in a spectacle of light. News of the alien arrival spread like wildfire throughout the station. Initial reactions ranged from disbelief to awe, and then to a scrambling rush as protocols were put into action. The station's commander, Captain Lisa Zheng, was the first to establish visual contact with the aliens via a secure transmission. The creatures, known as the Vrox, were surprisingly humanoid, with translucent skin that shimmered with a tinge of blue and large, expressive eyes that gave nothing away of their thoughts. The first communications were cautious but hopeful. The Vrox spoke in a modulated tone, their language quickly adapted and translated by Earth's advanced linguistic software. They expressed peaceful intentions and a curiosity about human civilization, mirroring humanity's own interests. Arrangements were made for a face-to-face meeting on the neutral ground of the Mars Gateway's main conference hall. Humanity wanted to present itself as a unified and advanced civilization, so a display of Earth's cultural diversity and technological advancements was planned. Among the technologies to be showcased was Earth's latest experimental defense technology, intended to highlight human ingenuity. The selected weapon, intended as a symbol of innovative thinking and unconventional tactics, was a high-tech firearm that shot projectiles molded in the shape of rubber chickens. The choice had been controversial even among Earth's Defense Committee, split between those who saw it as a clever ploy to create confusion and those who dismissed it as foolish. But its designer, a renowned physicist with a penchant for the eccentric, had argued that the absurdity added an element of surprise that could be tactically advantageous. When the day of the demonstration arrived, the hall was filled with an air of tense anticipation. The Vrox delegates, their faces impassive, watched as the human presentation unfolded. As the rubber chicken gun was unveiled, a murmur rippled through the human audience, some amused, others embarrassed. The Vrox, for their part, reacted with a mixture of bewilderment and what could only be interpreted as amusement. Their laughter, a strange, echoing sound, filled the hall, bridging the gap between the species in a moment of shared absurdity. This laughter, however, soon turned to a cool detachment as the meeting proceeded. The Vrox commanders, veteran warriors who had faced unimaginable dangers in the dark expanses of space, saw the weapon not just as a novelty, but as a potential mockery. They questioned Earth's seriousness in fostering relations and maintaining peace. Captain Zheng and her team tried to salvage the situation, explaining the strategic reasoning behind the weapon, but the damage was done. The Vrox withdrew from the negotiations shortly after, leaving a cloud of uncertainty hanging over the Mars Gateway Station. As the silver ship disappeared into the blackness of space, the humans were left to ponder the consequences of their unconventional approach. The station, once buzzing with hopeful energy, felt quieter now, the weight of the future pressing down on it. After the Vrox's departure, the mood on the Mars Gateway Station was somber. The staff and crew were left questioning the implications of the failed meeting, worried about the potential for a misunderstood gesture to escalate into a diplomatic crisis. Yet there was also a prevailing sense of defiance among the Earth's representatives. The decision to demonstrate the rubber chicken weapon, a seemingly absurd piece of technology, had been a calculated risk, intended to showcase human creativity and the element of surprise as strategic tools. Now, it was time to evaluate that decision in the harsh light of its reception. Back on Earth, the news of the interaction had sparked a media frenzy. Every news outlet and social media platform buzzed with images and videos of the bizarre weapon, alongside heated debates about its appropriateness and effectiveness. The public's reaction ranged from amusement and pride in human ingenuity to concern and criticism over the government's approach to interstellar diplomacy. Amidst this backdrop, the designers and military strategists behind the weapon defended their creation vigorously. The lead designer, Dr. Emily Santos, became a figure of particular interest. A veteran in defense technology with a well-known penchant for unconventional warfare tactics, she appeared on several broadcasts explaining the rationale behind the weapon. Dr. Santos argued that the rubber chicken gun was not merely a joke, but a sophisticated piece of machinery designed to create disorientation and non-lethal incapacitation through a combination of visual distraction and advanced frequency-based disruption technologies hidden within the projectiles. "We needed something that could incapacitate without causing permanent harm," Dr. Santos explained in one of her many interviews. "The rubber chicken is a disguise, a shell for a complex mechanism that emits a range of disruptive frequencies upon impact. It's designed to overload sensory processing systems without causing structural damage. You see, what might seem ridiculous at first glance holds a layer of strategic depth that could potentially revolutionize how we think about armaments." Meanwhile, military forums and strategic think tanks dissected the potential of such a weapon in Earth's arsenal. Speculations abounded about its utility in confusing advanced alien sensors, which might be calibrated to detect conventional metallic weaponry. The underlying technology, which involved a unique application of sonic warfare mixed with psychological elements, sparked a wave of research into similar applications. At the international level, Earth's leaders convened in emergency sessions to discuss the next steps. The incident with the Vrox had exposed a gap in Earth's preparatory measures for dealing with alien civilizations. It was clear that while humanity could guess at alien technologies and strategies, understanding their psychology and cultural norms was just as crucial. As the leaders debated, the military began ramping up its production of the rubber chicken weapon, driven by both the public's surprisingly strong support for the innovative defense strategy and the possibility that the Vrox might view the demonstration as a provocation. Secretly, many in the defense community hoped for another chance to prove the weapon's worth under more controlled circumstances, perhaps as a non-lethal crowd control tool or in simulated war games. In the shadow of these developments, intelligence reports started trickling in, suggesting a significant military buildup near the Jupiter junction. The Vrox, it seemed, were taking no chances and were possibly preparing for a show of strength. This alarming news prompted Earth's forces to prepare for the worst, even as they hoped for a return to diplomacy. The Mars Gateway Station, once a symbol of interstellar aspirations, braced itself for what might come next, with every eye watching the stars for signs of silver ships and the next chapter in humanity's celestial saga. As Earth's decision-makers continued to grapple with the diplomatic fallout, the Vrox were not idle. The initial laughter and disbelief that greeted the rubber chicken weapon quickly shifted to strategic reconsideration within the ranks of the Vrox command. The display of what appeared to be a nonsensical weapon led to a serious reevaluation of human ingenuity and unpredictability. The Vrox, with their highly regimented and technologically advanced society, found themselves pondering the potential hidden threats posed by such an unconventional approach. The situation escalated when intelligence satellites detected movements within the Vrox fleet, suggesting a potential mobilization towards the outer planets. The Jupiter junction, a key strategic and resource-rich area within the solar system, became a focal point. Satellite imagery revealed the Vrox amassing a formidable armada near one of Jupiter's lesser moons, poised for either defensive or offensive operations. Back on Mars and Earth, the military response was swift. The humor once associated with the rubber chicken weapon faded into a grim determination to defend human territories. Admiral Jane Hollis, A decorated officer known for her sharp tactical mind and unflappable demeanor, was appointed to command the Earth's outer planetary defense forces. Her first orders were to reinforce Saturn's ring stations, which served both as scientific outposts and as critical defense platforms due to their proximity to Jupiter. The preparation for a potential conflict involved not just the ramping up of military assets, but also an acceleration in training using the unconventional weapons systems. The rubber chicken gun, now part of Earth's arsenal, was distributed among the troops along with traditional weapons. Training exercises incorporated scenarios that mixed psychological operations with direct combat, focusing on leveraging surprise and the disorientation effect of the new weapon. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts were doubled. Earth's diplomats, still hopeful for a peaceful resolution, sent continuous messages to the Vrox, seeking to reopen communications and explain the true nature and intentions behind the rubber chicken demonstration. These messages emphasized Earth's desire for peace and mutual understanding, highlighting the weapon's non-lethal design as proof of Earth's commitment to minimally harmful defense strategies. However, the Vrox remained silent, their intentions obscured behind a veil of military preparation and strategic positioning. The human diplomatic corps faced an anxious wait, each day without a response, increasing the likelihood of conflict. The tension was palpable across human settlements in space, with civilians and military personnel alike bracing for what many felt was an inevitable confrontation. As Admiral Hollis reviewed the latest tactical simulations, reports came in of a small Vrox scout ship approaching one of the outer defense perimeters near Saturn. The entire command center on Mars held its breath, watching through live feeds. This could be the spark that ignited the looming conflict, or it could be a chance to demonstrate Earth's readiness, and perhaps even the effectiveness of its most bizarre weapon. With the world watching, Admiral Hollis made the call to intercept the Vrox ship using a squadron equipped with the rubber chicken weapons. This decision was not only tactical, but also symbolic. It was a demonstration of Earth's commitment to defend its space in a way that minimized actual harm. As the human ships approached the Vrox scout, the uncertainty of the outcome weighed heavily on all involved. This encounter would either open the door to renewed talks or push both civilizations to the brink of war. The siege of Saturn became a defining moment in human-Vrox relations, unfolding against the backdrop of the gas giant's swirling storms and its majestic rings shimmering with icy debris. Admiral Jane Hollis, stationed aboard the flagship Defender, oversaw the strategic deployment of Earth's fleet around Saturn, with special attention given to the innovative yet controversial rubber chicken weaponry. The tension in space was mirrored on the ground. Across Earth's military and civilian outposts on Mars and the Moon, people gathered around screens to watch the unfolding drama. The situation was precarious. Saturn's ring stations, critical for both scientific research and the mining of ice and minerals, were not originally designed for heavy combat. Modifications had been hurriedly made to fortify these stations, turning them into makeshift strongholds. As the Vrox Armada loomed into view, a formidable array of sleek, dark vessels that cut through space with ominous precision, the human forces prepared to defend their position. Admiral Hollis's strategy was unconventional. Her fleet would deploy the rubber chicken weapons en masse to create initial confusion and chaos within the Vrox ranks. The hope was that the bizarre, non-lethal projectiles would disrupt the Vrox sensors, which were likely calibrated for more conventional forms of attack. The first salvo was a surreal sight. Thousands of rubber chickens, propelled by compressed air cannons, streamed towards the Vrox fleet. The visual absurdity of the moment was broadcast back to Earth, where it was met with a mix of anxiety and bemusement. To the surprise of many, the chickens had the desired effect. The Vrox vessels, equipped with advanced targeting systems, struggled to categorize the incoming objects. Some of the ships halted their advance, their sensors overwhelmed by the flock of flailing, squeaking projectiles. Taking advantage of the confusion, human forces launched a more traditional attack. Missiles and laser cannons fired in coordinated volleys, targeting the temporarily stalled Vrox ships. The battle escalated quickly, with bursts of plasma and explosive debris lighting up the void of space. However, the Vrox were quick to adapt. Recovering from their initial surprise, they began to retaliate with deadly precision. Their energy beams cut through space, targeting the human ships with increasing accuracy. The situation looked grim as the Defender sustained damage, its shields flickering under the assault. Admiral Hollis, undeterred, ordered a second wave of rubber chickens, this time embedded with a new feature. Each chicken was equipped with a miniaturized EMP device designed to disrupt electronic systems upon impact. As these new projectiles collided with the Vrock's ships, flashes of disrupted systems were visible, causing temporary malfunctions and loss of control among the alien fleet. This moment of vulnerability allowed human boarding parties to engage. Special Forces teams, wearing suits designed to withstand the harsh conditions of space, launched from the human ships in small, maneuverable pods. They boarded several Vrock's vessels, engaging in close-quarters combat. The goal was not to destroy, but to capture and gather intelligence. Understanding the Vrock's technology and strategies could be key to ending the conflict. As the battle raged, a surprising development occurred. The Vrocks, perhaps recognizing the futility of their current tactics against such an unpredictable enemy, began to withdraw. Their retreat was orderly and calculated, minimizing further casualties. Admiral Hollis, observing the withdrawal, made the call to cease fire, wary of provoking further hostilities. The siege of Saturn ended not with a decisive victory, but with a tactical pause. Both sides had sustained losses, and both needed time to regroup and reconsider their strategies. For humanity, the battle had demonstrated the effectiveness of unconventional tactics and the potential of human ingenuity in warfare. For the Vrocks, it was a lesson in the unpredictability of their opponents, forcing a re-evaluation of their approach to the conflict. As the debris cleared and the last of the Vrocks' ships disappeared into the distance, the human forces took stock of their situation. They had defended their position, but the war was far from over. Admiral Hollis prepared to report back to Earth, her mind already turning to the next encounter, aware that the strange interstellar conflict had only just begun. In the aftermath of the siege of Saturn, both Earth and the Vrocks took stock of the unexpectedly chaotic battle, reflecting on the lessons learned and recalibrating their strategies. Admiral Jane Hollis, now hailed as a tactical genius for her unconventional approach, faced the challenge of maintaining momentum while ensuring the morale and readiness of her crew. Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the battle's bizarre tactics spread, fueling both public support for the defense efforts and spirited debate over the ongoing costs and risks of the conflict. The Vrocks, on their part, were not idle. Stunned by the initial effectiveness of the rubber chickens, they began to adapt their technology to better handle such unorthodox attacks. Their engineers worked tirelessly, upgrading sensor systems and recalibrating shields to discriminate between serious threats and deceptive nuisances. The Vrocks commanders, who had initially underestimated the strategic value of the humans' absurd weapon, now prepared their troops for a variety of possible scenarios, no longer willing to be caught off guard. As the tactical pause extended, Admiral Hollis seized the opportunity to initiate a series of daring reconnaissance missions. Her goal was to gain a deeper understanding of Vrock's technology and battle tactics. Using stealth-modified shuttles, human teams approached the outskirts of the Vrock's armada, now regrouping near the moons of Jupiter. These missions gathered critical data, revealing weaknesses in Vrock's communications and fleet movements that could be exploited in future engagements. The intelligence gathered proved invaluable. It revealed, among other things, that the Vrocks were particularly susceptible to certain high-frequency emissions, frequencies that were incidentally similar to those produced by the rubber chickens upon impact. This discovery prompted a new wave of weapon development. Engineers and scientists on Earth, working in tandem with the military, began to enhance the rubber chicken design, integrating more sophisticated electronic warfare tools into the seemingly frivolous weapons. With this new knowledge, a bold plan was formed. Rather than wait for the Vrocks to strike, Earth would take the initiative, aiming to disrupt the Vrocks fleet's cohesion and command structure with a targeted strike. This operation, dubbed Operation Foul Play, would utilize the newly upgraded rubber chickens in a multi-pronged attack designed to capitalize on the chaos and confusion these weapons had proven capable of sowing. Admiral Hollis coordinated with her fleet, stationed across various strategic points around Saturn and Jupiter. The operation commenced with a feint attack, drawing the Vrox's attention to one of Jupiter's lesser moons. As the Vrox fleet maneuvered to engage, the main human force launched the upgraded rubber chickens in a massive volley aimed directly at the Vrox flagship and its surrounding ships. The effect was immediate and more potent than any simulation had predicted. The enhanced chickens, now equipped with sophisticated EMP and frequency disruptors, wreaked havoc on the Vrox systems. The flagship, its sensors overwhelmed, lost navigation control and drifted dangerously close to another ship, causing a minor collision and further disarray. Seizing the moment of chaos, human special forces equipped with the latest in space combat gear boarded the flagship. The close-quarters battle was intense and swift, resulting in the capture of several key Vrox officers and the seizure of valuable technology. Simultaneously, other human units engaged Vrox ships, using non-lethal tactics to incapacitate and capture rather than destroy. As the battle drew to a close, the Vrox fleet, significantly disrupted and now leaderless, had no choice but to retreat. Admiral Hollis, monitoring the operation from her command ship, allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. The victory was a testament to human creativity, resolve, and the surprising effectiveness of their most unlikely weapon. However, the war was not over. The capture of Vrox officers opened up new possibilities for negotiation and diplomacy. Earth's leaders, encouraged by the success of Operation Foul Play, were eager to explore these avenues. The hope was that with their newfound leverage and the demonstration of Earth's capabilities, they could negotiate an end to hostilities and perhaps even forge a lasting peace with the Vrox. As the human forces regrouped and prepared for the next phase of the conflict, there was a sense of cautious optimism. The strange, ongoing war had brought out the best and the worst in both species, but now there was a chance to move beyond conflict and towards understanding and cooperation. The capture of several Vrox commanders during Operation Foul Play provided humanity with unprecedented insight into their adversaries. Lieutenant Ramirez, a seasoned Special Forces officer with a keen understanding of alien technology, was appointed to lead the interrogation team. The Vrox, known for their reticence and inscrutable expressions, initially offered little in terms of cooperation or communication. However, as Ramirez and his team employed a mix of empathy, respect, and shrewd psychological tactics, cracks began to appear in the stoic facade of the alien commanders. As the interrogations progressed, a breakthrough occurred. The team discovered that the Vrox's advanced sensory capabilities, which included highly sensitive auditory systems, made them particularly vulnerable to the high-frequency noises emitted by the rubber chickens. This vulnerability, previously unknown to the Vrox themselves, suggested a biological adaptation to their home environment, where such frequencies were naturally absent. With this crucial information, scientists and military strategists on Earth began to refine their approach. The rubber chicken weapon was upgraded once more, this time to specifically target the known vulnerabilities of the Vrox. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts intensified, leveraging the newfound advantage to push for peace talks. Earth's diplomats, using the intelligence gathered, argued that continued conflict would only lead to unnecessary suffering and loss on both sides. The revelation of their biological weakness did not sit well with the Vrox leadership. Feeling exposed and outmaneuvered, they initially reacted with heightened hostility. However, the effectiveness of Earth's new strategy during recent skirmishes forced them to reconsider their position. The Earth's diplomatic corps, sensing the shift in Vrox attitudes, proposed a ceasefire as a gesture of goodwill and a prelude to formal peace negotiations. The ceasefire brought a tense but welcome pause to the hostilities. Admiral Hollis, who had become something of a celebrity figure back on Earth for her leadership and innovative tactics, took charge of the Earth's delegation. The peace talks were to be held on the neutral grounds of the Lunar Embassy, a site chosen for its symbolic representation of humanity's achievements and aspirations. As the delegations from both species met, the atmosphere was charged with cautious optimism. The human team included top diplomats, military leaders, and scientific advisors, all prepared to broker a lasting peace. The Vrox delegation, though still wary and somewhat humiliated by the exposure of their weakness, were pragmatic, recognizing the futility of continuing a war that could potentially expose them to even greater risks. The negotiations were arduous and complex, with sessions stretching long into the lunar nights. Both sides had to make concessions. The humans offered assurances that the knowledge of the Vrox's auditory vulnerabilities would remain classified and unused, except in dire self-defense. In return, they requested open trade relations and a mutual defense pact against any future threats from other aggressive alien species. The turning point in the discussions came when a junior Vrox officer, moved by the earnest efforts of the humans, shared detailed information about other potential threats in the galaxy. This act of trust significantly shifted the dynamics at the negotiating table, leading to a deeper exchange of information and strategic plans. After weeks of negotiations, a treaty was drafted. It included terms for the demilitarization of key zones, the establishment of a joint human Vrox research council, and the exchange of cultural and technological resources. The treaty also established a framework for handling future conflicts through arbitration and dialogue rather than warfare. As the treaty was signed, there was a palpable sense of relief and hope. The media across human territories hailed the treaty as a triumph of diplomacy and strategic warfare, crediting the unconventional rubber chicken weapon with not only saving lives, but also paving the way for a new era of interstellar cooperation. Admiral Hollis, speaking at the closing ceremony, reflected on the journey from uncertainty and fear to understanding and partnership. Her words resonated across human and Vrox communities, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another in the annals of human space exploration and diplomacy. The conflict, ignited by misunderstanding and escalated by fear, was resolved not through the annihilation of the adversary, but through creativity, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to peace. With the peace treaty signed and a new era of cooperation between humanity and the Vrox officially underway, the focus shifted to implementing the complex array of agreements that had been laid out. The treaty's ambitious scope included technological exchanges, cultural understanding initiatives, and joint operations aimed at safeguarding the peace and exploring new frontiers in space. Admiral Jane Hollis, who had been pivotal in the defense strategies during the conflict, was appointed as the head of the newly established Joint Interstellar Peacekeeping Force, JPEF. This role placed her at the forefront of the collaborative efforts, overseeing both human and Vrox military assets as they transitioned from adversaries to allies. Her first task was to organize joint training exercises designed to build trust and ensure operational compatibility between the two species. The training programs were a sight to behold. Human and Vrox troops, once poised against one another in battle, now worked side by side. They trained in everything from basic communications, a challenge given the differences in language and sensory perceptions, to advanced combat simulations that incorporated non-lethal technologies, including the now famous rubber chicken devices, which had been adapted into training tools to teach quick adaptation and improvisation under unexpected conditions. On the scientific front, the Joint Research Council was established, co-chaired by Dr. Emily Santos, the human physicist who had designed the rubber chicken weapon, and her Vrox counterpart, senior scientist Rills. The Council's mandate was to share knowledge and resources, fostering innovation that could benefit both species. Early projects included the development of hybrid technologies that combined human creativity with Vrox precision and exploration missions to previously inaccessible parts of the galaxy. Culturally, the integration posed its unique challenges and opportunities. Exchange programs sprang up, allowing humans and Vrox to visit each other's communities, learn about different traditions and lifestyles, and build interpersonal connections beyond the formalities of diplomatic and military interactions. These programs were complemented by educational broadcasts and virtual reality experiences designed to immerse participants in each other's worlds, promoting a deeper understanding and appreciation of the distinct yet complementary natures of the two species. The economic implications of the treaty were profound. Trade routes were established between human and Vrox territories, enabling the exchange of goods ranging from basic resources like metals and foodstuffs to advanced technological components. The economic boom from this trade helped to alleviate tensions within human colonies, where skepticism about the treaty's benefits had initially been strong. Seeing tangible improvements in their daily lives, many humans grew more supportive of the interstellar partnership. Meanwhile, the Vrox, traditionally a more isolated and insular species, found in humans an enthusiastic partner eager to explore and collaborate. This openness led to a cultural renaissance within Vrox society, which began to question its long-held doctrines of self-sufficiency and caution in external engagements. The younger generations of Vrox, in particular, were instrumental in pushing these boundaries, inspired by human art, music, and literature. The most symbolic gesture of the new era of peace and cooperation came with the dedication of the Unity Station, a massive joint space station constructed at the midpoint between Earth and the Vrox homeworld. The station was designed to serve as a permanent meeting place for diplomatic gatherings, a hub for trade and cultural exchanges, and a research facility for joint scientific ventures. At the grand opening of Unity Station, Admiral Hollis delivered a speech that resonated across human and Vrox territories. She spoke of the journey from the brink of devastating war to a promising partnership, highlighting the role of perseverance, understanding, and, unexpectedly, the whimsical yet pivotal rubber chicken weapon. As the celebrations concluded and the representatives of both species looked out from the observation decks of Unity Station at the stars beyond, there was a shared sense of accomplishment and a mutual realization that their joined futures held limitless possibilities. The peace forged from the absurdity of a battlefield filled with rubber chickens had blossomed into a profound and transformative alliance, forever altering the course of their intertwined destinies. As the new alliance between humanity and the Vrox began to flourish, the galaxy watched with a mix of curiosity and admiration. Unity Station, the symbol of human-Vrox cooperation, had become a bustling hub of activity, drawing visitors from across human and Vrox territories, as well as delegations from other alien civilizations curious about this unprecedented partnership. The success of the peace treaty and the collaborative efforts that followed served as a beacon of possibility, demonstrating how former adversaries could transform their relations through shared goals and mutual respect. On Earth and Vrox territories, the cultural and technological exchanges continued to deepen. Joint educational programs were established, allowing human and Vrox students to study in each other's institutions. These programs not only focused on academic achievements, but also emphasized understanding and navigating cultural differences, preparing a new generation for a life in a multi-species society. In the realm of defense, the Joint Interstellar Peacekeeping Force, JIPF, under Admiral Hollis's leadership, had grown into a robust and efficient organization. Its primary mission was to maintain peace and security within human and Vrox territories, but it also offered assistance to other species and communities, extending its peacekeeping efforts beyond its original mandate. This extension of aid played a significant role in stabilizing volatile regions of the galaxy, earning the JIPF a reputation for fairness and effectiveness. Technological innovation, always at the heart of human and Vrox progression, reached new heights. The Joint Research Council, leveraging the best minds from both species, made significant breakthroughs. One of the most notable was the development of a new propulsion system that reduced travel time between distant planets, making interstellar travel more accessible and fostering a sense of closeness among the galaxy's myriad civilizations. Economically, the impact of the treaty was profound. New trade routes not only increased the flow of goods, but also allowed for the spread of ideas and art. Markets on Earth saw the introduction of Vrox technologies, which were integrated into daily life, enhancing everything from home automation to medical treatments. Conversely, Vrox society, once quite insular, embraced human cultural products, finding particular fascination in human music and cinema, which were celebrated for their emotional depth and creativity. However, the path to a fully integrated interstellar community was not without its challenges. Differences in life philosophies and societal norms occasionally led to friction, requiring constant dialogue and compromise. The Peace and Cultural Understanding Committee, PCUC, a body formed under the treaty, played a crucial role in mediating these conflicts, ensuring that misunderstandings were addressed before they could escalate. The true test of the human-Vrox alliance came when a new threat emerged from the outer edges of the galaxy, a rogue faction of a known marauder species that had begun to destabilize nearby systems. The GPF, now a seasoned and well-coordinated force, was quick to respond. Using a combination of human strategic prowess and Vrock's technological superiority, they managed a campaign that swiftly neutralized the threat, reinforcing the strength and stability of the alliance. This victory was celebrated across both human and Vrock's worlds, with Admiral Hollis and Senior Scientist Rills jointly receiving accolades for their leadership and vision. The success not only reaffirmed the effectiveness of the alliance, but also demonstrated to the galaxy at large the benefits of cooperation over conflict. As the anniversary of the treaty approached, a grand celebration was planned on Unity Station. Leaders, citizens, and dignitaries from across the galaxy were invited to commemorate the achievements of the past years. The event was filled with displays of culture and technology from both humans and the Vrocks, showcasing not only where each species had come from, but also where they were heading together. In her keynote address, Admiral Hollis reflected on the journey from the tense days of first contact and the surreal battlefields filled with rubber chickens to the thriving partnership that now stood as a pillar of galactic stability. She spoke of the challenges overcome and the future ahead, emphasizing the enduring power of unity and innovation. The celebration ended with the unveiling of a new monument on Unity Station, a sculpture representing human and Vrock's hands clasped together, holding a globe that projected holographic images of various significant moments from their joint history. It was a symbol of their intertwined fate, a testament to the strange yet profound journey they had shared, sparked by a conflict that had turned into an enduring alliance, shaping a collective future filled with hope and boundless potential. As the final echoes of the grand anniversary celebration on Unity Station faded away, the broader impact of the Human-Vrock's alliance became a topic of reflection and study across academic and political spheres. The alliance, initially born out of conflict and solidified through mutual interests and shared dangers, had evolved into a cornerstone of galactic stability and prosperity. Its success prompted other civilizations to reconsider their own policies and positions regarding interstellar cooperation and conflict resolution. In the wake of the celebrations, a new initiative was launched, the Interstellar Alliance Summit, a conference to be held annually at Unity Station. The summit was designed to extend the principles of the Human-Vrock's partnership to other star systems, fostering a galaxy-wide network of cooperation. Delegates from numerous civilizations came together to discuss key issues such as trade, environmental sustainability in space, collective security, and the ethical implications of interspecies interactions. The first summit was a resounding success, leading to several new agreements and treaties. Notably, the summit charter established a Galactic Mediation Council, GMC, inspired by the Peace and Cultural Understanding Committee that had proved so effective in human-Vrock's relations. The GMC was tasked with facilitating negotiations and resolving disputes before they escalated into open conflict, modeled on the diplomacy that had averted war between humanity and the Vrocks. Meanwhile, back on Earth and the Vrocks' homeworld, the benefits of peace were palpable. Economies flourished as new technologies and resources were shared across borders. Cultural exchanges had given rise to a new era of artistic and philosophical movements that blended human creativity with Vrock's precision, leading to innovations in both art and science that neither could have achieved alone. In the scientific community, joint exploration missions launched under the banner of the Joint Research Council had started to bear fruit. These missions, which extended far beyond the familiar borders of known space, uncovered new resources and habitable planets, ensuring the sustainability of space civilizations for generations. These explorations also brought to light ancient artifacts from long-extinct alien civilizations, providing invaluable insights into the galaxy's historical and cultural diversity. Education systems on both Earth and the Vrock's territories had integrated interstellar studies into their curricula, teaching young students not only about their own history and technology, but also about the importance of diplomacy and cultural respect in maintaining peace. These programs nurtured a generation for whom interstellar cooperation was not just a policy, but a way of life. On a more personal level, the story of the rubber chicken weapon had become a favorite tale, recounted in schools and shared across media as a symbol of hope and the unexpected paths to peace. The weapon itself, once a subject of derision and skepticism, was now displayed in the Museum of Galactic History on Unity Station, a testament to human ingenuity and a reminder of the unconventional strategies that had helped forge a lasting peace. As the narrative of that first chaotic encounter with the Vrox was retold, it served not only as a historical lesson, but also as a beacon of wisdom for future diplomatic endeavors. It underscored the importance of keeping an open mind and embracing the unexpected in negotiations, teaching that sometimes the best solution to a problem isn't the most conventional one. Reflecting on these developments, Admiral Hollis, now retired but still an influential figure in galactic diplomacy, penned a memoir titled From Conflict to Concord, A Journey of Intergalactic Cooperation. The memoir became a bestseller, praised for its insightful analysis of the conflicts and its detailed recounting of the successful strategies that had led to lasting peace. The final chapter of her memoir resonated deeply across countless worlds, emphasizing a simple yet profound truth. In the tapestry of the cosmos, every thread, no matter how bizarre or mundane, has the potential to contribute to the greater pattern of peace and cooperation. As the galaxy looked forward, it did so with a sense of shared destiny, forever altered by the legacy of a partnership that had transformed former foes into the closest of allies.